I've been wanting to create my own coloring book for quite some time now, in fact for many years. The project is still in the planning phase and I'm currently trying to figure out the style and the themes. So today I'm gonna do a few test pieces, and to make it a little more fun and interesting, I'm gonna turn it into a challenge like old school art YouTube, doing a limited color palette but with a twist. I'm gonna explain it further in just a minute, so stay tuned for that, but let's start with the coloring pages. So of course I want my coloring book to be featuring cats, preferably with a cozy or witchy or nature theme. I could just draw regular cats, but I think having little cat characters doing different things like, I don't know, drawing, cooking, reading, things like that could be a lot of fun. Previously, I had the idea to make more detailed coloring pages, a little like in my monochromatic art series, but lately there seemed to be a bigger demand for more simplistic type of coloring pages, which actually suits my art style pretty well, so that is the style that I'm experimenting with today. Bolder lines and more simplistic designs. We have one kitty out picking mushrooms and one is checking their mailbox, and I want to include a lot of plants and floral elements. So even if I have drawn cat characters many times before, I even have my own original character kit, I always seem to struggle with getting the body shape and the pose right, and if I'm gonna make a whole coloring book featuring cute cat characters, I will need to find a way to be more efficient and confident with how I draw them. So to get some ideas and inspiration, I took this class on Skillshare, which is the sponsor of today's video. It's called How to Draw Cute Characters with Simple Shapes. Now, this class is specifically for drawing bears, but I think you can use these tips and tricks to create any kind of animal character really, like how studying reference images to find the key features of the animal, and then how to use simple shapes to create your character. It is super helpful. My characters often turn out a little stiff, so I think using a more fluid shape to start with can help a lot with that. And I also tend to get stuck in one idea or mindset, so trying different shapes to achieve different looks and vibes and characters was a lot of fun and very inspiring. The teacher of this class, Lisa Glantz, had a lovely energy and was very interesting to listen to. On Skillshare, you will learn directly from professional illustrators, designers, photographers, or entrepreneurs, creative people with a lot of talent and experience. Pick from thousands of classes and categories like art and illustration, design, animation, music, and so on. Learn at your own pace with easy to follow instructions and connect with people who share your creative interests. Deepen your existing skills or learn new ones. I'm pretty sure that you will find something that sparks that creativity. If Skillshare sounds like something that you would like to join, then the first 500 people to use my link in the description or scan the QR code will receive a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Get started today. Thanks Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to the coloring pages. So here we have them. Let's add some colors. One of these will be colored using a 5-color palette and one will be colored using a 10-color palette. Both palettes I will choose myself, but I'm also gonna let a non-artist pick a 5 and a 10-color palette for me, and we'll see if the pro palettes will be better or worse than the newbie palettes. Also, if you would like to color these yourself, they are available over at my Patreon, along with a bunch of other coloring pages and other fun stuff. Alright, let's say hello to the non-artist.
Hello.
So I'm here with my husband. Hello husband.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Do you have any experience at all in drawing or art or anything like that?
No, I wouldn't say that I have.
Perfect. So as the non-artist, you're gonna pick the color palettes for these 2 coloring pages. So which one would you like to pick for the 5-color palette?
I think this one.
Yeah.
And 10 for this one.
Yeah. Alright, so let's start with the 5-color palette, and you have all of these colors to choose from.
Okay.
Like so.
Yes. Okay. Well, I think we need some green.
Yes, and if you want to swatch them, if you want to try them, you can do that on that paper. Okay. Oh, that is very interesting. That is definitely not the colors that I would pick. These are the colors that you picked. Would you mind explaining just very briefly why you picked these colors? Why you picked 2 pinks?
I just picked some colors that I liked. I just went with it.
Yeah, because you know what? You're also gonna use these colors to color this coloring page.
Yeah, I know.
Good luck to both of us. So my husband chose the 5-color palette for the mushroom kitty and the 10-color palette for the mailbox cat. So I'm gonna do the same. So this is my set of 5 for the first piece. Having the mushrooms and nature in mind, I decided to go with some more autumn-inspired earthy tones. I tried to pick colors that I knew could be layered and create new tones and shading, which I'm pretty sure that my husband didn't. Also, besides the coloring pages, I will share the colors for all of these palettes too over at my Patreon. In case anyone would like to try this themselves, I would love to see your versions. Also, besides the markers, I will be using a colorless blender and a white paint pen. So I have sort of like a purpley brown, golden orange, pinkish red, yellowish green and bluish teal, so a mix of cooler and warmer tones. When picking the palette, I also kept in mind to choose colors that can be used for multiple objects or areas, since I don't have a lot of colors to work with. Spreading out the different colors also gives a nicer balance to the whole art. So the gold orange I thought would be perfect for the cat's fur and also some of the mushrooms, the brown for the basket and also for the cat's fur, the teal and green for the plants and the background, the red color I used for the rest of the mushrooms and the scarf. I wasn't sure at first if I wanted to just use the colors flat without any shading, but I thought it would be more interesting to make the most out of the colors that I have. Markers are great in that way that they can be layered to create new colors, so combining the teal and the yellowish green, I could make a deeper green that was perfect for adding shading and depth to the nature and plants surrounding the cat. With the brown and teal, I could add shading to the mushrooms, the basket and the cat's fur. I used the golden orange to shade on the white parts of the mushrooms and the cat, and I think the teal would have worked perfect for shading too on the white, but I wanted this piece to have a warmer autumny tone, and then I thought the golden orange would be a better option. I used the colorless blender to smooth out the shading on the white areas, but since the orangey color is a little on the darker side, it is tricky to make a smooth blend, but it makes it a little less harsh anyway. Lastly, I'm adding details here and there with both the markers and the white paint pen, and yeah, I love how cozy and autumny this one turned out. Then we have the husband's 5-color palette, and this palette is a bit scary to me. The orange, teal and green, they are all fine. They are very similar to the ones in my palette. One pink is alright, but 2 pinks that are also quite similar and very saturated makes me a little nervous, but I'm gonna do my best. I could make it easy or easier for me and make the cat orange just like in my version and have the teal for the background, but I wanted to switch things up a bit and not make it too similar to mine, and I'm not sure if that was a good call or not. So I used the teal for the cat instead. orange for the basket and some of the mushrooms, the pink colors for the rest of the mushrooms, and the green and teal for the moss and plants around the cat. All the colors are very similar in value, they are all very bright mid-tones, but layering the teal and one of the pink colors, I could create this very gorgeous darker violet, which added some more contrast. Layering the different colors also helped toning down the neon vibe that was going on, a little at least. My idea to switch things up a bit maybe wasn't the best way to go, but I still think it turned out very interesting and definitely different from the version with my palette. This was definitely way out of my comfort zone, and I think if I had used the colors a little differently, perhaps it would have turned out a little more balanced. I am a little unsure of how it turned out. The pink background may have contributed to a bit of a psychedelic vibe, but the purple-violet tones brought it down a little, I think. I really look forward to seeing my husband's version and what he thinks of my use of his palette. So now we're done coloring using the 5-color palette, so
Yes.
Let me show you what I did with my palette.
Okay. Ooh, that's very nice. Yeah.
Well, thank you. This is what I made using the Psychedelic.
Wow, that's amazing. I actually love it.
Two quite
Yes.
different results. Let me see
Are you
yours.
ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, that is cute. Oh, I like it. Oh, I got little pink paws.
Yeah, I don't know.
I really like the teal mushrooms with the pink.
Yeah, that's great. It's a bit.
Also a bit psychedelic.
Yeah, but for me, it looks very 90s.
Yeah, I know you. I know you like the teal and the pink.
Yeah.
And the orange.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
It was not super challenging. It was fun.
You didn't think so?
Main challenge for me was to stay inside the lines.
I think you did a really great job.
Thank you.
Next one, the 10-color palette. I have this very handy dandy swatch card, so you can actually see the colors.
Rätt kul att sitta och välja.
Yeah. Never mind then. Yeah, I do actually like the color scheme. Besides two, can you guess which two? If you think about my art and what I normally...
This one?
There is actually one color that I never use in my art.
That's in here.
Yeah.
You never use black?
I never use black. Let me know what went through your mind.
I just picked some colors that I like, thinking about the snail and the mailbox and the leaves and the cat. I wasn't thinking too much. I just picked some colors.
That you liked.
Yeah.
I think you got a pretty good mix of colors here, so this one will probably be a little easier than the 5 colors. Good luck.
Good luck.
So these are the colors that I chose for my 10-color palette. I actually switched out the colors multiple times before I settled with these ones. The initial colors that I picked turned out to be a little too pastel rainbow, which is very cute, but perhaps not that interesting. So I decided to limit myself a little to go more with a theme. So I picked a few greens, purples and grays, and also warmer tones like yellow, brown and this peachy pink. Then I added a punchy sort of accent color with a purpley wine red. I'm still going for a pastel color scheme, but it isn't a rainbow. This mailbox kitty art is so cute. I absolutely love how this page turned out. I'm really enjoying coloring these simpler illustrations. For some reason it is very satisfying coloring within the thicker outlines. Maybe because you don't have to be as cautious to not color outside the lines or having the ink bleeding across the lines when doing a lot of blending. I'm using the grays for the kitty. I'm really loving the little heart on its chest, and the coloring of this piece is pretty straightforward. I don't have to mix the colors as much since I already have a bunch of colors to work with. I use the lighter purple for shading, which helps tying together the whole illustration. Since it is a little more muted, cooler toned color scheme, I'm very glad that I picked a yellow to bring in a pop of color or warmth. It gives the art a focal point. It is a little different color scheme than I would normally go for, but it was a fun experiment and I think it all came together quite nicely. Adding all the details and highlights I think really brings it all together. It is a calm and peaceful piece, at least compared to the previous art. So the 10 color husband palette. At the first look the colors seem a bit random, but when lining them in some sort of color order and swatching them, it is a pretty good palette. It has a good variety of darker and lighter tones and no bright pink at all. Maybe add a purple to it and it would be a pretty decent standalone set of markers. I first was a bit skeptical about the black marker. As I mentioned, I rarely or never use a straight black in my art. I often use a very dark gray, but now I need to incorporate black into this art somehow, and I thought the most natural place would be the cat's fur, combining it with the orange and turning it into a little calico kitty. The orange is almost like a warmer brown, so it works great to use for the branch holding the mailbox. I was also a bit intimidated about the very bright red, but when combining it with the orange or the peachy pink, it actually wasn't too bad. This palette is definitely a little bolder than the colors that I picked, and I think it is really interesting to see how different an illustration can look using different color palettes. It can really change the whole energy of the art. Something I regret a little with this one is that I didn't stick with my initial plan to make the flowers at the top red and pink. I chickened out and made them blue instead, which also looks good, but I think the red would have helped to tie together the warmer color scheme a little better, especially since I went with yellow for the background. So that is something that I would change if I could, but also the blue stands out nicely against the yellow and balances out the warmer tones. Also, I hope that some of you got the pun with the snail mail. So let's check in with husband and see what he did with these colors. Ten color palette, was it easier or harder than the 5 color palette?
Sometimes when I did the previous one, I might wish I had a few more colors to add some variation. But for this one, it was actually harder in that way that I had to use all the 10 colors. And after a while, I felt obligated to use some colors where I maybe haven't tended to do so.
It can be tricky with less colors and it can be tricky with more colors. Let me show you the one that I made with my palette.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Thank you.
It looks like a totally different picture.
That's what I thought too.
Mm-hmm.
When I did the one using your palette.
Yeah.
That the color scheme can really change the energy of the picture. So this
Oh,
is the one
wow.
that I made with yours.
I must say I love the color when they are done like this.
Me too, actually. I actually like your palette better than mine.
Wow.
I was a bit skeptical at first.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with the black and red.
Uh-huh.
But I think it really worked out, and I think it is a more interesting palette than the one I picked. Show me.
Let's go.
Show us what you did.
I did this. When I picked black and gray, I was thinking about Sally and Ludwig.
You did some stripes, yeah?
Some stripes, yes. And I actually wanted to color the flowers, but I left them like this because they look like...
Daisies, maybe?
Yeah, daisies.
Yeah, it's very cute. Well done.
Thank you, you too.
Is there a connection between the red paw print on the mailbox and the, and the bloody paw? Well, thank you so much for picking these color palettes. I had a lot of fun working with something new, and I hope you had fun too.
Yeah, it was very fun. I don't think I've used the coloring book since
it was a while ago.
7 maybe. The thing I thought about doing it was how relaxing it was. Yeah, I could definitely do this again.
So let me know, guys, whose palettes do you think is the best? Which one do you prefer? My favorites are my 5-color palette and husband's 10-color palette. I had a lot of fun trying other color schemes than what I normally work with. I also had a lot of fun creating these cute coloring pages. Let me know what you think of those. I hope you enjoyed this video and the art. Thanks Skillshare for sponsoring this video, and thank you guys for watching. I will see you next time. Keep drawing, my happy cats.
Bye.